Folks, soak it in. It's beautiful. It's the Rome 1 soundtrack playing on Rome 2. Yes, that classic mod. I brought it back by request of someone in the comments who asked if we could get some Rome 1 music. So here you go. I've got a replay for you with some Rome 1 music. And thanks to Madi for sending in this replay. This one's going to be Odrysians versus Aravachi. Folks, I've seen this one. It's close. Stick around because you don't want to miss this one. The Odrysian kingdom's going to come really heavy on shock infantry. Not a big shock, bad pun intended, but that's what they do, right? The Odrysians hit hard on the charge. They're not great in a grind-out fight. They don't like being shot with missiles, so they want to get into the melee quickly. He's also brought some Thracian Peltist, which are a nice specialist kind of hybrid skirmisher that's available to the Odrysian kingdom and some other factions as mercenaries as well. They come with pretty decent attack stats, and basically with them you're going to want to unload all of their very high damage javelins at 41. You unload those, and then charge into combat with them late in the game. There's a couple of mercenary veteran hoplites. A couple things to remember about this unit. Very high armor, and they also have this 30 weapon damage spear, which has a big 8 armor piercing, which is quite a bit. I think it's the most you can get out of a hoplite spear, so it does make them a little bit dangerous, albeit an expensive unit. There's a couple of Thracian horsemen. There's a couple of Thracian Royal Cavalry, which are all melee cavalry that are pretty good in melee. The Thracian Royal Cavalry is a very heavy unit. The Thracian Cavalry is a medium unit. And then on the other side we have the Aravachi, which is an Iberian tribe, and they've got a couple of Cantabrian Cavalry. I say a couple, there's a couple on each flank. These are very deadly missile cavalry. They're really poor in a melee. They can do a ton of damage with their javelins. Up front there's going to be 5, yes, an eye-watering 5 Balearic Slingers. These units are going to put an absolute wallop on the Odrysians, and these guys, I guess, don't have the same abs of steel. I mean, they're actually wearing armor, but it's still not the same as if you're a Swaby going shirtless as a slinger, okay? Those guys have a bigger block chance. So yeah, the Odrysians are going to be in trouble. Look at this focus fire. Woo! Yeah, you're going to feel that one. Kind of reminds me of that scene where Adam Sandler and Happy Gilmore are standing in front of the baseball or like the pitching machine, just like taking it in the chest. It's kind of what these guys are getting right now, except even worse. So the Odrysians are going to charge. Now the main line is going to be painted warriors, but the flanks are the heavy-hitting noble fighters. And these are some tough units. They come in with some, not amazing armor piercing, but a little bit, but very high attack. Are the noble fighters, and that's where the general is as well, so 5 of those in total. Now, if the Balearic Slingers stay safe, this battle's going to be over quickly. You can see the damage they did, where even these painted warriors start to become a pretty big problem in melee because those Thracian nobles got beaten up so badly. There was an early cavalry engagement on this flank, and it kind of falls apart. The Cantabrian cavalry gets routed. Some Thracian cavalry chased them a bit. And then these units are going to be forgotten for a little bit by our player. The front line starts to crumble quickly where the Balearics hit them. I like how the hoplites are being brought in as a second line. They're pretty sturdy. They don't like taking the main charge, but they'll be a great secondary unit, especially against these painted warriors, which really are more of a charging unit themselves. They're not going to be great in a prolonged combat. In fact, you can see that they have that frenzy activated right now that gave them some bonuses. Now, for now, the Balearic Slingers are still alive, and they can see the Thracian Royal Cavalry threatening. Noble fighter generals headed towards them, but there's multiple cavalry units breaking into the backfield, and the Aravachi are a little bit out of position to respond to it. And cavalry will do tremendous damage to skirmishers very quickly in this game. Look at the nice javelin throws here, too. These painful javelins being hurled into the flank of these noble fighters, and then where they overlapped here, the painted warriors took a lot of damage. So far the Thracian Peltist, they're making a difference in this fight. They are causing some pretty serious damage. So the cavalry does hit home on the Balearic Slingers. However, the Aravachi player gets very aggressive here and is able to push these units back. So the Slingers will live to fight on a bit longer. However, if the Odrysians continue to be aggressive with their cavalry, they should be able to get some good victories. But at this point, the Balearics are driven so far back that they can't impact the battle, and the Thracian cavalry is going to ping-pong from there down into these painted warriors and try and rout them up against this wall of hoplites. It's a pretty good choice. Over here, the hoplites had to come hold against a noble fighter, and you can see the noble fighter really ripping them to shreds. However, that javelin support is making it to where this isn't really even a victory for the noble fighters per se, but look at the kills. The noble fighters are dangerous units. They can really shred some kills. Look at this one, it's already got 127 kills as well. Just pumped that guy full of javelins as it went past another Thracian horseman. But again, we got multiple cavalry units now threatening the Balearic slingers who are trying to get back in the fight. They've popped their rapid reload, but they're a little bit too far back in order to be firing where they want to. The Thracian noble general is in bad shape here. He's going to try and knock out this noble fighter. It just finished off the hoplite, and it will probably finish off the Thracian noble general as well, despite taking some losses on that charge. And now the Thracian peltist, low on ammunition but not out, still throwing, getting lots of important kills, and that cavalry finds the Balearic slingers, and they are now completely behind their defense. And this is a danger when you bring that much money wrapped up in skirmishers and just did not have the cavalry to protect it. The Cantabrian cavalry is excellent against other cavalry, only with the javelins. And in this case, there was a lot of Thracian cavalry. There was a mistake that I mentioned earlier over here on the left flank of the Aravachi, where they lost both their Cantabrian cavalry, and then on the other flank, it didn't go well for them either, so that ended up costing them big. However, the fight's not over. There's a lot of noble fighters here. And despite, looking very good for the Odrysians at this point, there's still some very tough units that are going to have to be mopped up. You got one of them here, and the general is over here fighting as well, whereas the Odrysians have lost their general. Noble fighters have very high morale. They are hard to take down. There is cavalry, and there are a few javelins left at this point. That Thracian peltist got an excellent throw into the general right there. But look at this, combat even, despite being beat up. These noble fighters are really going to pitch it. And they're tired. They're outnumbered at this point. Look at this, headhunt being popped as the Thracian Royal Cavalry does get a very nice charge here into the noble fighters. They're going to drop a few units on that charge, but not terrible. But they're going to turn around and really put some heat back on that Thracian Royal Cavalry as well. But they don't have that bonus versus large that a spear unit would. Over here, the noble fighter going to connect with the mercenary veteran hoplite who goes into a wall. And that's basically going to prolong this fight, being in the wall, because it increases the melee defense and the bracing. The noble fighters will cut through it. They've got rally going on to keep their leadership up. They've got headhunt. We got a rally here too. So that general is holding in there despite the fact that I think he may have just died. Might be why we saw the morale drop a little bit in some of these units. He may not have died, actually. Haven't seen that message pop there yet, so the general fights down pretty close to the end there. I think maybe he's gone now because of that. That's going to hurt the Aravachi here. Another nice charge from the Thracian Royal Cavalry. A countercharge by the noble fighters, though, in an attempt to pull it down. But this cavalry, being a very heavy cav late in the game like this with no spears around, it's going to be difficult to stop. This noble fighter is in very good health. However, you can see the power bar starting to swing a bit against the Aravachi. That doesn't bode well. These noble fighters really can carry this fight on for a very long time, should their morale hold out. But they're going to be facing rear charges from the enemy cavalry, and lots of enemy infantry remaining, including this mercenary veteran hoplite that racked up 107 kills. This noble fighter, though, also fairly quickly racking up some kills against these Thracian peltists. But again, the Thracian peltists pretty competent in melee for a skirmisher, so it's gonna be dangerous. Over here, the noble fighters are just struggling to take on the combination of Thracian warriors and cavalry that just continues to harangue them in charges. They're being surrounded. It's going to hurt their morale. You see the Royal Cavalry just kind of pulling through them. They don't have the mass to hold it still. They don't have the spears to properly punish it. So it's really hurting them. Look at this noble fighter. Completely surrounded, but fighting its way out of it. Here comes more Thracian peltist. These guys are tired. Very tired, but they've still managed to rack up about 50 kills since we started watching them a few moments ago. This noble fighter's down to 18, taking on yet another mercenary veteran hoplite. It's gotten 368 kills. So just to give you an idea of how tough this thing is, their sword arms are so tired they just can't keep swinging at this point. This one is now up to 150. Again, don't underestimate just how strong some of these elite sword units can be. But with the cavalry rolling around and well over 100 mercenary veteran hoplites, yeah, it's about 180 of them at this point. This noble fighter, I mean, head-to-head, might be able to take out those 180 hoplites. Certainly probably not surrounded, and certainly not while being charged by a Thracian royal cavalry. But they are going to put up an effort, do their best here. A Thracian royal cavalry has really clutched late in this game. It got forgotten for a while, but then came in extremely handy. The mercenary veteran hoplites were some tough units here. They are good units. If they don't get charged and they can get in, to kind of a secondary combat, they're pretty good. They've got decent armor piercing. Not a bad unit. Not very high melee attack, unfortunately, but they do nice damage. So we're going to end this one so we can check out the end screen here. Hope you all enjoyed that Rome 1 music. I know I did. Let's take a look at some of the stats. I mean, first of all, look at the noble fighters here. So there's 415, 615. That's going to take us all the way to 915, and then about 70-ish more. 15 to 85, close, right? I mean, that is insane. 985, that's going to take us over 1,000. Basically up to 1,100, right? So 1,000. I mean, that is brutal. It's over 1,000 kills for the noble fighters. That's impressive. That's over half the Odrysian army, or around half of the Odrysian army that falls to just the noble fighters. This painted warrior got 166 kills as well, which was pretty impressive. And even though they were only firing a short time, some of the Polaric slingers also got a fair number of kills. So a lot of kills. I mean, it was a close battle. The Odrysians just, kind of barely won out there at the end. It was a ton of losses for both players. Let's take a look at the kills. A little more evenly distributed on the Odrysian side. Look at the work these Peltists got done. I mean, that is not bad at all for these Peltist units. This Thracian noble right here picking up a lot of kills, 176, 169, 165. Again, there were some tough units in there, but look at this one, just got shut down by the slingers. And it wasn't the only one. Others of these suffered as well. These Thracian warriors on the flanks came up against those noble fighters at first, and it didn't go well for them. These hoplites, though, also did well. That Thracian royal cavalry and Thracian horsemen, look at this one. 309 kills in that Thracian horseman. That's a lot of Balearic slingers that they took down. And then this royal cavalry did very well. So, good game. Appreciate Madi and Alex for playing this one. It's a lot of fun. Do hope you all enjoyed it. I'll have more replays coming up for you soon. HeirofCarthage signing out for now. I'll see you again with more.